Welcome to our interactive show called Ask GMBN, where you can ask us any mountain bike question that you would like.
Any question.
Any question. Shall we kick it off?
Let's start right away.
Okay, the first one is from ORIWOHL, and he says, what do you guys think about gearboxes on bikes?
Oh, well, you know what? I've always thought gearbox bikes are a really good place for innovation and development to happen in mountain biking. Because I don't think at the moment they're doing anything that you can't get from a normal derailleur, but I do think they're a place where new ideas are going to come from.
I'm going to second that. There's a lot of development that needs to go in to get these things refined and actually into the market. At the moment, they're quite heavy. They're not really that reliable, and you can't just fit them to any bike. So once those three things come in, they're going to be on every bike.
Yeah, all about development. Okay,
the next one is from SSB Films, and he says, I don't have a good mountain bike, but can I still do tricks and gaps?
Yes, 100% yes. It doesn't matter what bike you're on.
But maybe not massive gaps.
Well, everything's got its limit. Even the best bikes have got their limit. But usually the rider's limit runs out before the bikes, I find. Or the mistake happens because of the rider's limit.
I'm going to say you always find your limits though as well.
Yeah.
It's sort of knowing, you know, like...
Yeah, you get used to your bike, you start to understand what it can do, but even on the starter basic mountain bike, you can definitely do enough to have an amazing time. Gaps and jumps included.
I've got a question for you that actually not really sure on the answer for, but let's kick it off. So this is from Ben Parat 43, and he says, can you fit 27.5 inch wheels on a 26 plus wheel bike?
Oh, that's tricky. That's messing with my head geometry wise. So it's a fatter tyre.
Yeah, fatter 26 inch tyre, kind of like a fat bike, and he's wanting to put 27.5 inch wheels on a normal wheel size.
That might be one we're going to have to try and see if it'll fit in. It's almost an offer it up, and it would probably change between frames because mountain bike frames between brands vary so much, don't they?
I'm probably going to say that you can, but maybe the best solution for him could actually be to go and borrow a set of 27.5 inch wheels and try it.
Give it a go.
And then if it doesn't fit, then you know.
Yeah, and I think if it's possible, Scotty knows his tech stuff, so if he thinks it can, it might be doable. Yeah,
maybe I'm going to go 70-30 on this one. Not 50-50.
He's not committing. He's not committing.
And I'm not funny a friend, but I'm going to say maybe. TC Music is saying, what's a good mid-level affordable cross-country bike?
Oh, well.
Do you know what? Rather than us answering, I'm going to throw straight to video all about how to choose a cross-country bike, and hopefully you'll get some good advice in there.
Let's have a look.
Do you ever walk into a bike shop and you just don't know where to start when you're buying a new bike? There's so many different options these days. Wheel sizes, frame materials, suspension, componentry, it just goes on and on. Well, we're going to try and help you summarize that and find out what's best for you.
Okay, next question is from JOHNPAUL, and he wants to know, what are the ergon grips that you're using?
So the ones that I actually primarily use, we use some other various models too, but are the GD ones, and they come in a thick and a thin, and I use what they call the normal ones, and they provide really great dampening for your hands and are super comfy.
Okay, Martin Wyra, is it possible to use tubeless tyres on dirt jump bikes?
Yeah. 100% yeah,
Definitely.
I've done it loads of times. I know that a lot of the pros actually use tubes though, just because they feel they can pump them up really hard, get the extra air. They're not worried about them sort of rolling over when they're going up the takeoffs or around berms. So experiment.
A couple of those guys in the top level as well, is when they're landing slightly off axis, you get a little bit of burping of air out of the side sometimes. So yeah, maybe that's why they're putting the tubes in, but you can definitely do it. Patrick Plummer, how do you service a bike? Please, can you do a video?
Well, we've got the full mechanical playlist, don't we? But I mean, we should really do a video from stripping it down to nothing, rebuilding it, greasing it, showing you guys how to do absolutely everything.
Yeah, great video idea. We'll do it in the new year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'll get onto that one. And Fluffy Muffins. Is it better to do an overhaul of my front fork myself, or pay a bike shop to do it right and fast, but pay?
I'm going to say this one comes down to a little bit of experience, because it can be tricky, and there's a complication. If you find something else is broken, chances are you're not going to be able to fix it. But we have got a video on how to service your lures, so perhaps that can be a starting point for you. So, what have we got to do?
Well, why don't we have a look at the video doing just that?
Okay.
In this mechanical video, we're going to look at how to do a lower leg service for a fork suspension fork. But the best part is that we've actually got the Fox technicians to take us through the steps, and they serve as pros like Greg Menard and Aaron Gwynn on the downhill circuit.
Okay, next one is from Jean-Paul Bautista. Having more point of engagement in the rear hub is better?
This is a tricky one actually, and it's something that I'm not too sure on. I'm going to say yes. More engagement is better because you can actually get more acceleration through the rear hub, so you're going to be going faster, quicker, and easier. So I guess in theory, the more poles, the better.
For me, I've come from trials, and having more engagement on the rear hub was always something that everybody in trials saw all the time. They wanted more and more engagement. Even when the next model came out and it had 72 teeth, we wanted even more because it makes such a difference and you're engaged on the pedal all the time.
But here's a bit of a question for you. Does that promote drag? Because I've always found that when I go for one with less engagement, it actually rolls that a little bit quicker.
I'm sure it must make a difference to drag. Obviously for trials, not a big issue.
Yeah.
But you know what? It does create drag, but you've got that awesome sound on a hub with loads of engagement, that lovely purr as it's going along.
That is true.
And that is very enticing.
It's kind of like a trade-off then.
A little bit. A little bit. I'd be interested to know the drag thing though. That's an interesting point.
Work that out. Okay, next question.
Okay, Guilherme CAMEIRA. Why are your brake levers on the left this is a difficult one. So you're gonna have to think about the logistics of this. Why is your rear brake lever on the left and the front on the right? In his country, Portugal, at least the front brake lever is on the left and the rear brake lever on the right. So we're around the other way, right, in the UK.
But in theory, we're right because I come from a motorcycle background.
That's what I always think.
We're on the right sort of train. You know,
so
motocross
in the UK,
bikes, road bikes, they all come
in
with
the UK, that's throttle and front brake on motorbike, and in the UK, that's where we've got our front brake. So you guys have all flipped it round, and we don't know why you've done it. We don't know why.
Do you know why? I actually think it might be something to do with the way that they drive on which side of the road. You know, because our rear brake.
Yeah, but we don't know why they've done that either.
Well, we're getting off topic here, so I think we should just move on.
Yeah, we're going to move on. We're going to move on. Josh Dyson, how do I keep my wheelies going for longer?
Practice.
Practice. It's always the same thing, and it's a really boring answer, isn't it? But once you've got that understanding of your pedal and braking movement, and you're starting to find the balance point, there's only one thing left to do from there, and that's just do it lots more.
It is definitely the balance point that you find, that you hear people are really struggling to find. And once you've got that balance point, that is where you can really go from. But I think we should throw them to a video, how to wheelie in just 60 seconds.
That's all you need.
So let's have a look at learning to wheelie in 60 seconds. Let's hit the stopwatch. Wheeling is sort of a cool trick, but it's also really handy for getting up steps in climbs, and also those power wheelies out of a corner. They look really good. So, easiest place to practice this is to try and find yourself a nice mellow uphill gradient. Have your seat nice and high, biking in easy gear.
Martin, are you ready? Because it's time for the shorter, the sweeter, the snappier questions part of the quickfire round. What are you doing?
Nothing, mate, nothing.
Okay. The first one is from Kai Wilson. He says, on your Canyon Strive, does the shapeshifter require extra attention?
Don't know, mate, I haven't got one.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to answer this question, I guess. And I'm going to say no, I've actually had no problems with it. It's been running sweet, not touched it, and it was set up out of the box. Dan Hunt, what pressure should I have in my tyres for enduro? And he's using tubes.
Oh, 60?
No, you probably want to go for like 29 PSI front, 31 rear, something like that. But it's all about experimentation.
Don't know, don't do enduro.
Jake Lamping, will riding with a heavy backpack help me train?
It'll give you a bad back.
It will help you train because you'll be going slower, carrying more weight, but
it's not good.
Funner without, definitely.
Yeah.
Owen Reed, how often do you guys change tyres?
As a trials rider, change quite often, but that's to do with the terrain. What about for you?
Regularly.
Yeah, this isn't a quick
Yeah,
fire.
we need to speed it up. Okay, the next one. Okay, this is from Harry Grintel, and this isn't quick either. Any tips on how to prepare for your first race?
Oh,
I'm gonna keep. Do you know how? I'm gonna keep this.
Hydration.
Straight. Hydration. Have fun.
Yeah, good one.
King Awards. Do you need a downhill specific bike to start entering downhill races?
Oh, it's a good idea. It's a good idea to have a downhill bike, but you could get away with a long travel like enduro bike.
Maybe the Strive.
The Strive would work. Yeah, but watch that shapeshifter.
Alex Sims. Is Mark coming back to GMBN?
No.
There you go. That's it for the quickfire round this week.
We did one quickfire answer there. The rest Correct me if I'm wrong. So let's start with Alec Razima, who's trying some jumps, and let's take a look.
Okay, so he's coming in and already I've spotted one mistake.
Yeah.
He sat in the saddle.
Yeah, he sat down very late. He could have.
Yeah, pedaling all the way into it.
Could have stopped that pedaling.
Yeah, could have got the pedaling done further up, stopped coming into it, and got into that strong attack position.
Yeah. Not quite using the takeoff lip the right way, sort of riding through it rather than pumping off of it, which would have created the height and let you get across it.
And then when he's in there, because he's ridden off it, the front end starts to drop away automatically, and he has to compensate by shifting his weight. So it's kind of a combination why you're not getting through that rhythm set is because of the first one. And then when you move into the second one, you're just off form. You have to get that pedal stroke in, and then you're doing the same thing again by just riding off the lip rather than pushing the bike and letting it move up that takeoff naturally.
On that set of jumps, you definitely shouldn't need a pedal in between any of them because there's enough downslope on every single jump there to create a great pump. So once you've got that pump on that first one, you'll be through.
I love getting these, correct me if I'm wrong, I've got to say, even though sometimes you have to put a little bit of criticism in, I feel like you're being harsh, but they are learning, aren't they?
Yeah, and it'll be great to see when some video of when you've got it right.
And you can keep sending them to ask@gmbn.com.
Thank you so much for sending your questions into askgmbn.com. You can also keep them coming to #AskGMBN.
And you can just write them down below. We'll pick out the very best ones and try and answer them.
Yeah, and if you want to subscribe to GMBN and get a new video every day of the week, then you can hit the logo just here.
And if you want to know more about upgrading your wheels, then why don't you click just right here?
And I've got a link right here to common jumping mistakes.
And hopefully this helped you, so give it a thumb up like.